back with another one. It's gonna be we're gonna go Lexan. That would be
yeah. Well, Lexan is the lightest, but what happened? Okay, I'm never gonna film a YouTube video. Okay, we're gonna try this again. So today we are actually swapping. Stop! I'm gonna fight you. We are swapping my OEM S13 hatch glass out of the old hatch, as you can see here. And we are going to go ahead and put it in my carbon fiber hatch that we installed the other day. We had to wait for this nice gentleman to come and assist us because I am not a glass professional, but this guy is. So, real quick, the whole reason why I started to film this and decided to film this was because there was minimally no information about how an OEM glass looked in a carbon fiber hatch. So with that being said, we are going to pop the hatch here. 240 things. Maybe I'll think about it. So there it goes, it popped. And we're gonna just kind of, oh my goodness. No, it doesn't want to pop now. Hold on, pause. Okay, it popped this time. So obviously I haven't put the struts back on yet, but you do remove the OEM struts off of here. They're gonna go back on at some point. We're having a little bit of problems with the engagement here, so something to revisit once the glass is replaced. But even though this looks like this is a mess and old and very rusted, let me focus you guys. There's actually 2 bolts underneath here. Yes, there's 2 bolts. You're gonna remove these 2 bolts and the other 2 bolts on the other side, and that actually allows the whole entire hatch to come off. So, and we removed it before he showed up, so in the meantime, he's gonna remove this. I'm gonna film little tidbits of him removing this, and then we're gonna also show the install.
curious to see what goes on.
So he's already pulled this from the inner layer of the window, which went along here. That was all still original. And so now he was just telling me about this very fancy tool that typical people wouldn't have unless you work in this industry. So, and his goal is to try to keep as much as this original metal frame as possible. So you can kind of see he's taking his time. And what was this tool called, in case people were to call and ask somebody if they had this?
That one you'll probably have a really hard time getting a hold of, but it's called an easy wire.
Easy wire, he says.
That one would be difficult to get. Another tool you can use is either a sawzall with a flat blade. It's similar to a spatula. And you can use that to bend down on top of everything and oscillate and cut all the urethane that bonds the glass to the hatch.
He was explaining to me that it's pretty flexible, so it kind of gives you more of that mobility than a typical sawzall blade would have.
Right, and that's something I've seen a few people try to do, and most of the time, when you try to use a sawzall blade, you'll end up tearing the metal up or breaking the glass. So that's why I really prefer to try to use this when I can. Thankfully, I have it.
So he is a professional glass installer as his day job. He's also in the 240 community as well, so I very much appreciate the house call, also after hours. And he hasn't done something like this before, so I think it's going to be really cool for us to witness and see. And I have high hopes that hopefully everything works out good, but I've also am a slightly pessimistic person, so I'm also prepared in case it goes bad. So we're going to follow back up in a little bit. So once you got the string mostly through, then you have to, I guess you're adding like tightening pressure?
I'm just pulling through all the slack. That way I can tighten it all the way up and sneak it under. Then we'll go ahead and flip it over. Spray some glass cleaner on it, try to help lube everything up, see if we can't get it out without breaking anything.
Okay. I'm nervous for my table. So they went ahead and flipped the hatch over. He made a lot of good noises, so I think things are working out for him. So
yeah, the big thing I was concerned about is whether or not I was going to be able to sneak it past this bottom molding. Thankfully, it looks like it's going to cheat past it.
So a lot of patience and little details goes into things like this. And Alexis is still trying to help this man. What are you doing, goofball?
glass cleaner came through.
So what does that mean when you said the glass cleaner came through? Oh.
Whenever I was spraying it through.
Okay, so it.
The hole and got it wet, so
Yeah.
it's not wanting to stick for me.
Because it's suction cup, I'm assuming, right? Okay.
Thankfully, it's cutting through pretty solid so far. Both sides were loose.
So what does that mean when it pops?
So it honestly, I think it popped out on the bottom, and the line probably caught.
So the line ripped?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry, I'm not familiar with what's going on, so I was just wondering.
We'll just have to flip it, and I can rethread it all again.
But so far, you've made like progress
So
from.
far, it's almost halfway out.
Okay.
So
I can
it's
see
doing
the line
pretty good.
moving. I just wasn't quite
Yeah.
sure what was happening.
And the
So.
more it's moving, is the more it's sawing through that urethane and separating it from the metal.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, the line. Yep, the line did break. So, okay.
I'll just come over and find it, and then I can rethread it through.
Interesting. All right. So easy. Pretty easy.
Thankfully, yeah.
So it's currently stuck. So he's trying to figure out what's going on here. Since there wasn't a lot of information online anywhere about this, I also equally did not know what I was going to get myself into.
Yeah, I definitely feel something that's catching on. I'm curious to know what that is.
I'm really bad at YouTubing. Okay, so he figured out what it was. There's an actual like post built in, or I guess welded probably
So-
to the hatch.
They have a very specific type of glue that'll help bond metal to glass. And a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll attach guideposts. And what the guideposts will do is ensure that whenever the technicians set the glass onto the hatch, that it lines up the way it needs to be. So whenever you close it, it doesn't hit either of the two side glasses.
Like a registration, basically.
Right.
Okay, so we overcame that with Eduardo's box cutter, so.
Which honestly, I didn't think I would be able to say this, but if it comes down to it, you could probably get away with a utility blade box cutter. I would recommend a bit thicker one,
But he's a professional, so.
but you could probably get away with it if worse comes to worse.
Okay, so now you're gonna go back to the string thing. Okay.
Theoretically, there should only be those two, so the one over on that side and the one we just cut through.
Okay, cool.
So as long as we can keep it.
I didn't get to capture his like amazing reaction of realizing what it was, but I was more just worried about him figuring it out.
You catch the reaction of me being stupid excited about the fact that it's getting underneath that bottom molding.
Yeah. Oh wow. So this time it didn't even get caught. It just pulled it out. Okay.
So basically, the reason I was able to get this one is because it just wrapped around, and it was in front of the urethane bead, so as I cut through, it just wrapped around. But yeah, this is what we were getting stuck on. This is what they glued to the glass, so whenever you set it, it just goes into place.
Wow, what a great piece of 240 part for you. There you go. I'm gonna have to keep this collector's item. Cool. And so the glass did make it all out in one piece. It is, wow, look at that gross, disgusting buildup of who knows how long. No, it all made it out in one piece. So we cleared it. I mean, I would think the install on the new hatch should be the easy part, right?
Absolutely.
Yay. Okay, so we're probably gonna need my hands to help move this, but we did get it out in one piece. I got a collector's item, so this is cool. Now the fun part, taking all the old, you said this is urethane?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so taking all the old urethane off. He probably has
honestly,
some. And so he was really worried about trying to pull this trim off separate, like before removing it. Oh, look at that, much faster than my fingers. But as you can see, the polyurethane was stuck on there, and that was like one of his big concerns about trying to remove it separately, so that's why he did it all in one piece.
Because for sure, it being stuck to that molding, if we would have tried to get that off, it would have bent it.
Oh, see, and I wanted to try to keep the molding as much as possible because you cannot get this stuff anymore. He's going to torch this little extra nub off.
Big thing about these is you want to make sure you get directly on the metal as much as possible. Otherwise, you run the chance of cracking the glass.
Okay.
But the type of glue they use for these, it releases with heat.
Okay.
So that's why it's so easy to pop them off with the torch.
And the other one came off, so, and it was very odd that one is significantly bigger than the other one. So just Nissan things. Just Nissan things.
It might be that one broke a little.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe not.
Maybe not. It could have just been how they made it. So we're going to get this cleaned up now, and then we're going to hopefully get it over to the other hatch. And this is like embarrassing and absolutely disgusting, but he said there's no way around it. So we're going to get this cleaned up and go from there. Turby. Turb, Turby. He's like, nah, I got the itches. What about you, ma'am? So he's cleaning it up. They're gonna test fit it because he has to prep the carbon fiber hatch. So do not.
Once it sits flat, that should be it. And just kind of give it a twist, see if it kind of moves it all. No? Alright, we're solid.
Do not. Watch out, Alexis. You're making me nervous.
Should. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what I was really hoping for, is that the molding would kind of help set everything in place on this one. That's
It
gonna look
looks-
like a lot
it-
easier.
Wow. I'm even happier than what I thought I was going to be.
Sweet.
Okay, cool. Next parts. Look at that. Perfect fit. It looks really nice. And it actually, with the glass now on there, it balanced out the trunk because it was a little bit bent before. A little bit still off, but I think over time it'll set itself out. So
Hell yeah.
awesome. Okay.
Awesome.
So now he has the big tools out. He has a battery powered high-end like caulking gun basically. And is there any noticeable differences in the polyurethane that you guys use now in like the 21st century versus, okay, so what are some major things that you could explain to people watching this, that what are the big differences?
So, a few of the biggest differences are the urethane that they would have used on this generation would have got brittle a lot faster and don't have as much bounce to them. So that's kind of why I'm not too concerned about this going onto a carbon fiber hatch, because the urethane that I'm using has a good bit of bounce to it. It's very rubbery
Okay.
when it dries. So it'll have that little bit of move, but so if it twists or anything, it's not necessarily going to put immediate stress. It doesn't turn.
It wouldn't really put stress on the glass. It would put more stress like actually on the polyurethane. So really you'd notice it lifting probably more than actually like shattering.
Yeah, so think like frame bushings between the frame and the body.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of thing.
Okay.
So thankfully this will work a little better.
Do you need help with something?
I'm trying to see if there's something better we could set it on so I can walk all the way around it instead of stretching.
Okay, so we could get a smaller table. Like probably one of those rolly carts would be fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That'd be
Go
perfect,
grab that.
actually.
You wanted to put it on a smaller table just so that way you could like do a continuous
Right.
like
the less
pump.
seams you have, the better.
Okay.
Even though I can match the seams up pretty nice, and it's really like Play-Doh when it comes out, the less seams I have to make, the better.
Okay, that makes sense. That's okay. It's
Yeah.
trying to get you all the things that you need for. I want it to obviously last and. Where was this thing when I was caulking my baseboards?
I know, right?
So you can actually see it's a pretty decent amount that's being applied.
And what's nice is another big noticeable difference is that when we do these now, they're actually cut with a V instead of having a rounded top to it. So I don't know if you want to get a shot of that.
Yeah,
It's
that kinda
actually
got
a
low.
triangle on top
Okay.
instead of being rounded. So when they used to do it back in the day and it was rounded, what would happen is when you mush it, the edges would come off and round on the edges, so you don't have a lot of contact space on the glass.
Okay.
Since it's more of a triangle.
Do you
when it flushes
apply
out,
that to both the carbon and to this, or just to the glass? Okay.
That way, whenever this sets, that triangle point smushes flat and squares out instead of rounding out into an O.
Okay.
Grab the other one of these real quick. It's gonna be uneven. Oh, that's all good. Go ahead and
Probably just grab that side. Okay.
It'll be the same way we set it. Nothing special to it. Actually, set it down real quick.
Oh gosh. Charlie Brown's gonna know how to do a little bit of everything by the time he actually hits adulthood. What are you doing right now? There was.
Oh, so I had to take the corner piece off.
Oh, initially?
Yeah. I had to
Okay.
take the corner piece off the molding.
And that was for when you were trying to get the string started, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So I just wanted to go ahead and get that back on before we set it on.
And obviously, in today's day and age, you never really see trims like this. They're all those
No,
rubber.
All the rubber
Okay.
stuff, yeah. That's all you'll ever really see nowadays. So I would grab it underhanded. That way, whenever we rotate it over, you're upright. Flip around. Flip it over. Just don't touch that good thing.
Oh, watch that.
Go ahead and lay it over this way. And then, if you don't feel comfortable, just kind of hold it. But all you're doing is taking that corner and setting it right in the corner of the car. Oh.
No. I'll
No?
let you do it.
All right. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
I ain't trying to redo it.
There you go. That's it.
Wow.
And another really nice thing, at least with the urethane I use, you won't ever see me put tape on your car. That is an old thing of the past because the urethane back in the day took a solid 24 to 48 hours to fully dry.
That was about to be my next question is,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not taking my car anywhere, but what is like the general rule of thumb, like until I could get the car wet or take it out and about or things like that?
With mine, it only takes about 8 minutes for it to be set in place where it's going to be and never freaking move again.
Okay. Wow. So that's really quick.
Really quick.
It's almost like super glue.
Right. It dries from the outside in, and it actually dries from the moisture in the air.
Okay, so
So
since,
since we're
it's so humid here, that's the first time where humidity has really worked in our favor.
So my working time with it is about 8 minutes.
Okay.
After that's over, the upper layer has already skimmed over, and it's done.
So if there was like a major catastrophe or like, you know, there was an accident or something like that, you do have a little bit of ability to play with it or maneuver it if need be. Like if he stuck it down and it wasn't quite lined up right. So there's a little bit of room for error.
Whenever we set it at first, I wasn't too worried about it if you wanted to hold on to it for a second. Because even if we set it and my side was a little off or I came back over and this side was a little off, I know I have a little bit of time to finagle with it.
It like matched up so perfectly. I regret not filming beforehand, but you couldn't even tell that that was not like this.
And then, like if this were normal 240 or one that somebody was daily driving, the only special treatment you have is just don't wash it for a day.
Okay.
That'd be it. Honestly, after about 8-10 minutes, you'd be fine to go drive right now if you wanted.
Cool. Good. Yeah, obviously I have a few things. We're going to try to get this light installed. Other than that, I mean, the car is pretty much ready. I am swapping wheels at some point. But really this video was just about installing this OEM glass. This is my authentic OEM glass now in my carbon fiber hatch. I don't know if this closed yet, but okay, yeah, it locked already. Hold on. I just wanted to see how I've been having, oh, there it goes. Okay, so actually it locked for once, which is rare, but no, I don't want to slam it. We're gonna wait. No, I don't want absolutely anything to happen to the glass, but I am so excited. It looks so good. So good. Very happy. Yay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So you are obviously in the Houston area. You do have a S14, which I don't think I'll be able to see in the dark, but this gentleman has a super clean Koki. I'm super jealous. I would love to have a newer S14, but I got this, but I really, really appreciate it. So if you guys have a 240 or any other
anything at all,
exotics. Your daily drivers, exotics, absolutely. You name it. So he is a professional. He does this every day. I appreciate him doing a house call after hours. So I cannot thank you enough. What is your you have Instagram? So I'll try to post that below so that way you guys have that access to him. Super nice guy. So awesome.